that I stand before you this evening, and I want to acknowledge the senior pastors of the church, Pastor Vincent and Pastor Haladelo Duarte. I want to acknowledge the elders of the church this evening. I want to acknowledge the leaders who are in this place. I want to acknowledge my fellow servants who serve in different ministries. I want to acknowledge visitors who are with us tonight. I want to thank God for this opportunity. I don't take it lightly. I also want to appreciate that it is an opportunity for me to serve the Lord. I am not here because I'm super. I'm here because I've been granted an opportunity to stand before you. My mandate is to make sure that I take you through the book that you are sitting to have after this session. I think you have already placed in order. I am not going to preempt the book. I'm going to highlight the book. I'm going to allow you to have the gist, to have the pieces that are exciting, to anticipate when you take the book, you will run away with it. So that's why I'm standing before you. I'm not going to write a book. I'm not going to change the book. I'm going to give you a summary of the story. Tonight, I'm greatly motivated, and I think I will take you to the book of Proverbs, chapter 27, verse 17. It reminds me that it is only iron that can sharpen iron. So does man sharpen another man. So as we sit here, I'm greatly excited that another man has taken a step to sharpen another man. I have a few, a paraphrase that I made with regards to that scripture. Just take it for yourself. The Spirit was flowing and I heard what was being said. It's connecting. So you can see how it's coming. Are your friends making you a stronger person? Are they challenging you to become a better person? You cannot soar with the eagles as long as you are hanging out with the turkeys. That's a piece for your digestion. I'm getting back to business. The book, A Second Chance to Life. That's the title of the book. Is it befitting? When I went through the book, indeed, yes, it is befitting. The book tells of stories, realistic, seemingly stories of families, of people, of individuals who have been walking through life, in life, experiencing life. Along the way, they had an opportunity for a second chance. As you read the book, there are so many second chances that you will see inside the book. Second chances that are granted by human beings. For instance, when you have an altercation, when you have a situation where there's a disagreement, when people have a misunderstanding, they accord each other a second chance. They forgive and move on. There are second chances where you find people have been broken in their lives, but at the fullness of time, they have an encounter and they meet with the Lord Jesus. Their lives are transformed. It is a second chance. So chances are found in the story. That title is fitting because there were people in the book, or there are people in the book that were granted second chances. Does the page that we see there, the cover, does it suit what we see, what we read, what we review in the book? For me, yes, it does. If you look at that particular cover, as it is reflected there, you will see there is a man who seems to be retiring, or he's coming from a background where life was hitting him hard, until we see another man there holding a cup of hope, which is meant to resuscitate the man who was giving up. Again, you can see the man who is on the floor has brokenness, and the man who is standing or who is kneeling before him is giving him life, a second chance to life. For me, the cup is defeating. I will take you through the book. This you can see. I'm going to break my presentation into 4 or 5 sections. I'll give you the setting of the book. I'll give you the plot of the book. I'll give you key characters. I will also give you my own take from the book. Listening is a privilege. I'm going to change. It's not a skill. Yes. I'm starting with the setting. A book that was presented giving a picture in South Africa, predominantly a province in South Africa. It has a bit of a story in America, but it dominates in one province in South Africa, and that province is in Mpumalanga. There's a place, a small town called Amsterdam. That's where it all started. And when I move away from Amsterdam there, I want you to know that that's where the family, that's where the characters that gave existence to the book originate. We are talking about 2 teenagers. I can give them names as they are given there. Bongani and Letio. They were born in Amsterdam, Mpumalanga, South Africa. They grew up in an environment where it's a setup which we are all familiar with. They experienced circumstances that all of us go through. I want you to know something. When I read the book, when he gave me the book, I didn't want to drop it. I wanted to finish it. It is a book that was structured in such a way that it has 12 chapters. I don't know whether it's to do with the G12 or... Is it a government of 12 or is to do with the 12 tribes of Israel? I'm not sure about that. But it has 12 chapters. That one I picked up, and it has about 165 pages. So if you take it, you can, by the next morning, or you are done. But the impact is too much. It moved me. And then I thought twice. But nonetheless, let me take you back to Mpumalanga in Amsterdam. That family of it was 2 teenagers who made a family. I'm not going to the nitty-gritties of how they created that family. It's for you to find out. But they had a family, and out of that family came a boy by the name Skumbuzo. Skumbuzo is the guy who also took the story from Mpumalanga elsewhere in South Africa. I hope I'm making sense. We are talking of a young man. I will give him a lot of his attributes as we continue, but I'm trying to give you the setting. He moved from Mpumalanga in Amsterdam to Cape Town at UTC, at university. He moved from there, he came back to Gauteng when he was now a professional. And a lot of things happened in Gauteng. So it's a vicious cycle. Amsterdam, Mpumalanga, Cape Town. Amsterdam, Cape Town. Then after Cape Town, Gauteng. After Gauteng, Amsterdam. That's the story. The setting is around that mission. I hope I'm making sense. And then when you go to Gauteng, you find their places. Sandton is there, Parktown, Parkwood is also there. They are familiar places again. Midland is also part of the bigger picture as you read the book. I'm giving you the setting. I say there's a bit of America, but maybe the writer was not interested in a lot of issues in America, but took it back to South Africa. So that's the setting of the book. I move on to stage 2. I'm going to talk about the plot. When I talk about the plot, I'm saying, are the events flowing? Is there a sequence in the manner in which the author structured the book? For me, yes. I read through the book. It started in the early 1980s. I read through the book. When I finished reading the book, I think I was in 2008, thereabout, or 2009. The events are flowing from the 1980s to the 90s, from the 90s to the 2000s, and then it ends somewhere there. So there's a logic in the flow of events. I'll take you through slightly back. Now I'm taking you in the story slightly. I'm not going to give you the whole book, otherwise you won't find it exciting when it's time for you to read it. Mpumalanga, Skhumbuzo was born. A bright young man, did his primary, secondary education in Mpumalanga. Qualified after matriculating, went to university at the age of 17. There, represented the family, was a real powerful young man who was able to work hard, so to speak. I'm not talking about his spirituality. He was an ordinary young man like any young man who comes from any province or goes into the city. He did things that any other young man would have done that goes into his city. He was able to face the challenges that every young man would face in the city. That's his story at Cape Town University. One key aspect, he was a very decorated playmaker in soccer. And I won't give you much into that one, but he played for a very popular teams. He played for Ajax at Cape Town, he played for Orlando Pirates. He also played for Bafana Bafana. So he was indeed a decorated player. I'm talking about Skhumbuzo. That's the sequence. He was born, he went to university. After university, he graduated. After graduating, he was a professional. What was he studying? He was studying a law degree, but he was a good soccer player. He pursued playing soccer as a professional. And he was still a qualified lawyer when he was playing soccer. That's the storyline of Skhumbuzo. I want to take you back to his family, where there was a mother and a father who were able to benefit from transformation that came post-apartheid. We're talking about transformation as a result of policies that were introduced by the democratic governments. The government of ANC introduced BEE. Yes, BEE policies for transformation. It was one family that benefited from those programs, where they started a business and they were very effective in that business, very successful in that business, and the family was able to raise this son from the proceeds from their businesses. It was a catering business, if you may just want to know. Now, I want you to know that this family, for me, is the pillar of the book, because they brought the boy, and the book revolves around the character of the boy. He became a young man, Skhumbuzo. Skhumbuzo had names. His name was changed from Skhumbuzo to Zane. Zane, I think, was the one popular soccer player, Zane Musa. Zen Musa, yes, that one. That's where he got that nickname. So the name Skumbuzo is very, it comes and then it disappears because of the pseudonym. That nickname is coming in very, very much. So you may find it disappears along the way. He was a good soccer player. I hope I'm making sense. So that's the story about this young man called Skumbuzo. And that's the story about the family. And there are other families that we find in the book. Families that are found in Parkwood, that fellowship in Midrand, the Emmanuel Christian Church, there. And there are also other families where we talk about, they're not very much key characters in the book, but we have other characters that are central in the setting or in the plot of the book. So as you read, you will understand that the story is centered around the family of Skumbuzo. I don't want you to lose track of the chronology or the plot of the book, but I want you to keep the focus in that particular line. I'm not going to preempt the whole story, but I want you to see that we are talking about a boy who started, a boy who endured, a boy who exploited, a boy who had a life of achievements, and a boy who had a closure. I'm not going to tell you about the closure, it's for you to find out.
That's to read the book.
Yes. I'm going to talk slightly about the characters. In characters, we talk about villains, we talk about protagonists, those characters that are outstanding, that are aggressive. There are characters that are mild, those that are neutral. We have all sorts of characters that fall into those categories. But I'm going to talk about this young man, Skumbuzo. I want to give you some of the gist of how he was in a nutshell as an individual. I said it before, he was a very intelligent young man. He was respectful, he was generous, he was humble. I'm not sure about his spirituality. I hope I'm making sense. I'm not sure about his spirituality. He completed his law degree in a record time. That is to consolidate the fact that he was indeed an individual who had a gift academically. He was a young man who had powerful charm. He was a Chamanga. I want you to listen to how he would express himself, and it's, by the way, a privilege to get what I'm saying right now. Check this one, I'm quoting from the author. Look out through the window, you will see the sun smiling at you, the trees dancing for you, wild birds singing for you, and flowers giving you a sweet smelling fragrance. You know why? It's because I asked them to. Good morning, princess. Have a stunner day. That was Skumbuzo. Now listen to this good morning text. This one is another quote. I wish you a day as bright as your smile, as lovely as your eyes, as beautiful as your face, as sweet as your heart, as humble as your soul. Skumbuzo was a Chamanga. That's him. But I want to give you another dimension of this character. His eye was the door that exposed him